hated person on the Delaware River by far. Nobody hates. I'm the most hated person probably in the East Coast because of what I do. And this is so frustrating because it's okay for guys to rod and reel them and kill them and eat them. But God forbid you shoot them and eat them. No, that's just a whole different ballgame. You guys lose their mind. And the people that are losing their mind are the guys that don't know how to catch them.
Eddie Mackin's Rippin' Lips Fishing Trips. Call him. He's on the fish. The guy knows what he's doing. Every single time he posts something, it's quality fish. I can't get over it, you know. He really knows that lake like the back of his hand. You know, he taught me some things. I caught a lot of fish. You know, I've been out with him. It's a great time. You know, he's really dialed in on the hybrids and the smallmouth right now. He's got it going on. He can locate wolf packs. He can get on blitzes. You know, it's definitely a good time to call him, and it's only going to get better as the temperatures drop. So give him a call if you're in the area or you want to fish Lake Hopakong, whether you got kids or family or work trip, whatever it is, he can accommodate all your needs. Eddie Mackin, Rippin' Lips Fishing Trips. Give him a call.
You know, it's flawless fishing. I get out there on a pack-on. I'll find him with my boat. I'll be within 30 yards of the guy. He's tripling every fish I catch. It's absolutely insane. Yeah. It's unfair. The best way to fish that lake is on that boat. One of his boats. He's got multiple.
Eddie Mackin's Rippin' Lips Fishing Trips. Give him a call. He's on the fish. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 68 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I'm your host, Max Wilson, and my co-host, Kevin Glenn.
How's everyone doing today? Finally got a little rain. Max, cool things down?
Yeah, it's been hot. It's been real hot. I'm glad.
Yeah, I've been watching the Passaic in my backyard. It's about a block from me, just at a trickle in some of the nicer trout streams.
Yeah, good. I mean, it's not long before it's going to pick up. You know what I mean? Temperatures are going to drop. Things are going to be great. It's all going to go off all at once, you know. I'm looking forward to it.
Today was beautiful. I went and looked at the catfish pond behind my park where I work. You can just see all the bass. They're finally back into the shallow a little bit after that rain. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait. You know, it's been a hot summer. It's a rough one. Fishing's been slow. I haven't been out too much, you know, but I'm real excited to get back out there. It's been driving me nuts.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of vacation days. I just realized I've got to burn. I've got something like 23 days left to use this year. Definitely going to do Definitely going to do for Buck Week. Buck Week will happen this year for sure. And I'm thinking awesome. With our guest coming on tonight, Dom, I might have to take a day or two off to get a real good night trip in down South Jersey on the Delaware with him, some bow fishing. We're going to talk about bow fishing this week. One of my favorite types of fishing. Now, it doesn't get talked about enough. I haven't been able to drag Max, Chris, or Joe out to do it with me yet, but I have everything I need in my basement.
Yeah, and you know, that's what theme of this episode is going to be. We're going to focus on bow fishing with our first guest, and then we're going to introduce the legendary Brian Kronk down the road. So I'm excited to hear about it. I've personally never done it. It's something I've always been interested in. I don't fully understand all of it, but you know, the idea is very appealing. So I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, you know, I would think Chris would like it even more than he said he has, just because of the uproar it causes on social media. I'm sure you've seen some of the back and forth involved in bow fishing in New Jersey.
People definitely get riled up. You know, every once in a while you'll see a picture of one on a boat ramp or something because it didn't make it. And, you know, people go off more than the trout guys, a lot more than the trout guys. You know,
I see a lot of dead fish in Pennsylvania that it's just talons. Talons are getting it, and immediately the bow fishermen take a rap for it. But
yeah, people are very, very hostile towards them, you know, but the state considers it fishing. You need a fishing license, not a hunting license. So
Exactly. You know? I live near the Raptor Trust, a bird sanctuary in the Great Swamp in Myersville. And they love when bow fishermen bring them barrels of fresh fish. If I go out, I leave a barrel in their parking lot after I'm done in the morning. I come back in the afternoon and they'll have cleaned out that barrel, put it right back where I left it. All the birds that they're trying to rehabilitate in that place absolutely love getting the big fresh fish anytime they can.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, who wouldn't? I would love a nice
Any local bird sanctuary will take them, I'm sure, if you give them a call. Yeah. You just have to promise them that it was bow fishing, not rod and reel, because they can't accidentally feed these birds something with a hook in its stomach.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's a smart rule to have in there, you know?
Yeah, the Raptor Trust, they do great work down there. A lot of fun place to take the kids.
That's cool. And that's awesome that you're helping the birds, you know, because we got the Eagles are making a big comeback. And, you know, feed them. That's what I say, especially if you got too many fish. Might as well, you know, get our nation's bird back up.
I think that's been taken off the endangered list in a lot of states.
I think so, yeah. I see a lot of them flying around everywhere I go, you know, but it wasn't like that when I was a kid, so maybe it's all the bow fishermen doing the Lord's work.
3 weeks ago up in Pennsylvania, I was reeling in some weeds on a rattle trap, and coming across the surface, I got within about 10 yards of the boat, and one of the bald eagles comes screaming down out of a tree and stops within 30 foot of me, wings out, tail ends up, and just backs off when it realized I was bringing in weeds and not a dead fish.
Yeah.
That's
pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. Well, there he is.
Hey, there he is. Perfect timing. We're just talking about it.
So why don't we go ahead and we'll have Deuce bring in Dom.
Yellow dog paddle. What can I say? I mean, talk about consistency. Everywhere this guy goes, he catches fish. And, you know, on his last trip, I think he just pulled up 2 skillful angler hybrids and a bonus 30-inch pike. I mean, on top of the rainbow trout, if that's not a reason to call the guy, I don't know what is. Even if trolling's not your thing, you know, that's definitely a good way to get into any type of species he catches. Lakers, I think he just got a catfish recently. I don't know. He's out of control. You got to call the guy. He's got it going on. He definitely catches fish. He knows what he's doing. So, Yellow Dog Paddle, give him a call. Mike Herman.
Our first guest for tonight is here with us. This is Dom Troisi from Draw Bowfishing. Dom, how's it going?
How is everybody?
Not bad. I think my first time meeting Dom was it was right before I had my first kid. So 5 years ago, my buddy Hunter Whitehead gives me a call. It's like 8:30 at night. Hey, Kev, how quick can you get to Trenton? I live in Morris County. So it's like, I don't know, Hunter. Legally an hour and a half, but let me know when you need me down there. And I drive down, I get to the Trenton boat launch, and there's a literal tank waiting there right on a boat trailer. Now, Dom's boat, I'll give him a second to describe it to us. This was his old boat. He's going to tell us all about his new one. It looked like an armored vehicle, like one of those Bearcats that they bring in to control crowds. Dom, you just got a new boat this season, I think it hit water?
Yep, just in March. I finished it in March.
How big is it?
21 feet by 84 inches wide.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, the first boat was about the same, but that was when I first started the business and wasn't really sure what was going on with the business. And so now that I've been doing it for 10 years, pretty dialed in of what we need and what has to get done and the best boat for what I do and how I do it. Everything.
Years. That's a long time, you know.
I've gone through some boats.
Yeah, I saw you fix a trolling motor on the fly super quick that first time I was out. That was pretty impressive. I'm sure on the Delaware, you're absolutely trashing those. Probably send Bob Odell work monthly.
I was ordering parts out of a guy out of Wisconsin because he wasn't charging me to overnight ship them.
Oh, that's a good guy.
Oh, he was great. At the end of it, it was cheaper to buy a new trolling motor every 6 months than it was to rebuild them as much as I was rebuilding them. But that's part of the game. That's part of business.
Yeah, did I see a trolling motor end up with Bob that might have deployed on the highway? Dom? Was that you?
Hey,
No.
I've heard stories.
But what sections of the river are you bow fishing?
So I start from like the Trenton Makes Bridge, just above that, and I'll go all the way down to Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
I cover a big stretch. 80% of my trips are in Trenton, from Trenton Makes Bridge to like Newbold's Island. That way, I got 4.5, 5 hours. Now with the new boat, I can cover twice as much ground because I'm not running a trolling motor anymore. I'm running a kicker motor.
Oh, okay.
We're doing 4 or 5 miles an hour all night long, so I can cover roughly, we'll just say 15 miles in a night. Where before with the trolling motor, I was covering 4, 3. You know, so it was a little different now.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
A lot more fish, cover more ground, see more fish. That's kind of my theory with it.
Yeah, I mean, the more water you cover, the more fish there are, right?
I mean, whether we hit them or not is on them, but as long as they shoot, I'm
saying shoot low, no lower.
Yeah, that's a question I have about it. You know, you see videos and it always looks like you have to shoot lower than where the fish appears in the water. But why is that? Is it because the water bends?
Yeah, the refraction of the lights hitting the fish in the water, it's different. So you always have to aim low, except if they're on top. If they're on top, the back's out of the water, just aim right at them.
Huh.
Or straight down, right, aim right at them the best you can.
I imagine like kind of deeper and maybe on a 45-degree angle is probably the hardest shot to make, right?
For me, the easiest shots are the ones that are pretty far out there, because they're not deep. It's for me, it's an easier shot, but the deeper the fish, the lower you have to aim.
Yeah.
Roughly, if the fish is 2 feet under the water, you're going to aim 18 inches under it, a foot.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, and I've said this 1,000 times. The best shooters are teenage girls.
Really?
You have to say they're the bow hunters are the worst. Guys that bow hunt, they can't get it in their mind to aim that far below a fish.
Yeah.
Times a night, they might hit 5.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's cool. But if they're further away, it creates, a less of an angle, so you can kind of just like a regular arrow, right?
Yeah.
So when I get these guys out, Chris and Joe are going to be phenomenal at this since they hunt with a crossbow.
Like I said,
if I go online, we could probably find like a crossbow rig for those two, right?
You sell them. And I almost got killed by one a few years ago. The guy accidentally went off, so I don't really allow them.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's pretty crazy, man.
25, 30 pounds. So pretty much everybody can shoot these bows,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's certain people that can't. So
right.
Other crossbows, not one of them.
Yeah. That sounds safer that way.
Definitely safer.
Yeah.
Plus, like I said, we're shooting 25 or 30 pounds, so there's no real velocity on these things.
Mm-hmm.
You put one of these crossbow or bow fishing arrows into a crossbow, that thing is zipping out there, and if you miss, you're burying that thing in the mud and lily pads. We're never getting it back. Like, we'll have to pull it and try to get it out. And so you're spending more time trying to recover an arrow than you're fishing.
Yeah, that's silly.
Or it's out of logs and whatever. It's frustrating.
Yeah, currently all of my arrows are in logs or something in the bottom of the Passaic River. I actually haven't got to use my setup in a while.
Got about probably 400 or 500 in the Delaware River. Like I'll pass them like, oh yeah, I remember that arrow being there. We try to get them back, but you can't because they're so deep or on the right tide. We have a 9-foot tide swing, so that adds the challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big change.
9 feet is big.
That's huge. Yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah, I've been back in some of those little oxbow lakes with you, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it's shallow back here, and I know that tide is going out. I trust Dom getting us out of here, but wow, this moves.
Times where I start sweating, like Like, all right, don't shoot a fish because we got to get out of here. Like, don't care what it is, just don't shoot. And because if we miss the tide by a minute, we're screwed 6 hours.
Wow. So all of a sudden you're done fishing. It's a race.
Yeah, it's to me, it's a game. Like the lower the tide for me, the better fishing is because the fish are at the lilies. They're in smaller areas, so you can find more of them.
Yeah.
But it's kind of finding them and getting out. You know, that's the problem.
So you're risking it for the biscuit. That's a pretty slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pulled my way out of a lot of spots and spent some night in there. So
yeah,
I'm very fortunate.
What do you do if you do get stuck? Do you have like some sort of winch and like a grapple on the front of the boat, or what? How do you get yourself out? You just tug it, or you wait?
As far as you can, and you just push pull. I got to push pull and you push, and if you can't get it, you can only do so much because if you jump in, a lot of that silt, so you'll be gone. Like it's like
yeah, it is.
Just you'll learn not to do it real fast.
Quicksand is no joke. You know, I wouldn't want to get stuck in it.
That's some pretty bad stuff.
Yeah, now you spend most of your time down in that tidal section of the Delaware. You've been operating for 10 years now. What's the boom in snakehead been like? What are you seeing?
So this is the biggest. I'm the most hated person on the Delaware River by far. Nobody hates. I'm the most hated person probably in the East Coast because of what I do. And this is so frustrating because it's okay for guys to rod and reel them and kill them and eat them. But God forbid you shoot them and eat them. Oh, that's just a whole different ballgame. You guys lose their mind. And the people that are losing their mind are the guys that don't know how to catch them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, like I said, 80+% of my trips are in Trenton. It's the same 4-hour loop every night.
Huh.
Same. I might vary a little bit, but it's pretty much, I start here, I end here. I'm in the marina. I start from the marina, I go down, do my loops, come back around. Sometimes I'll do it twice. I still kill 300 snakeheads a year in the same 4-hour stretch the last 10 years. And then I'm in the highest point of the tidal section, which has the lowest concentration of snakeheads. They don't like the rocks. They don't want to get up. They will go, you see them now, guys are catching them in Easton. They're all the way up in New York now. Like
they're getting up there.
Right? But they don't want to be in the rocks. They want to be in the mud. They want to be in the lily pads. So, which is 50% of the land I cover at night. So if I'm killing that many every year, the last 10 years, I'm not the problem. I also offer rod and reel trips during the day. I have, besides the guy next to me, nobody rod and reels for snakeheads in Trenton. There might be 3 guys a year that go up and mess around with them.
Really?
I'm not the problem. I'm not. And it's not.
I don't know a lot about snakehead, but I would have ran as far south as I could looking for them. I didn't realize the concentration was even a little higher than that.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that prominent down there. There's a couple guys that do catch them down there. There's a couple of the Kennedys. They catch snakeheads pretty consistently. I don't know where they are in South Jersey, but they're definitely down there. You know what I mean? But Trenton, 300 snakeheads a year in the wrong habitat. That's pretty good numbers.
We only hit 5% of the fish we shoot at. 300.
Wow. That's a lot.
I can go back to the same spots night after night and shoot the same amount of snakeheads night after night.
Wow.
Some nights you shoot 8, some nights you shoot 10. It's not because we didn't shoot at them. It's because we just hit 30 or we hit 10. Now, if we're killing at 100.
That's crazy. That's scary to think about that there's that many swimming around down there,
Agreed.
Do you think they're damaging any part of the river or the ecosystem like everyone says they are? What's your opinion on it? Do you see any firsthand effects of it?
There we go. Here's my take on it. If they were slowly introduced, right? So they weren't like, they didn't dump 500,000 in the Delaware River. So the ecosystem kind of got used to it, right? And muskies, I'm seeing more walleyes, and I'm seeing larger bass and all that. Where I think it is a problem are these small ponds that people put them in. I have a golf course that I deer hunt on, and I catch bait because I do rod and reel flathead trips. The bait kind of disappeared in the last couple of years. I couldn't figure out why. Apparently, there's a pile of snakeheads in there. I was catching them on frogs. I didn't even know they were in there.
Wow.
They wiped out the situation. Now, will it come back? I'm sure it will because they can only eat so much. But smaller ponds get hit harder. But I don't know if it's a snakehead thing. Maybe if I put 20 bass in there, it would be the same problem. I got no idea. I don't think they're as bad as people say. But the state still says you have to kill them. Well, let me rephrase that. You can't release them alive, and you can't transport them alive. So you take that however you want. To me, it's kill them.
Yeah. I get a lot of questions anytime I bring up bow fishing to someone that doesn't actively bow fish. What do you do with the fish?
So I used to donate them to Wildlife Refuge, and they were feeding hawks and owls and stuff. And now I have a bunch of families from Trenton that meet me down at the docks, and they take all the fish every night.
That's awesome. The best thing you can do, man. That's great.
So you pull away and you're laughing like, I cannot believe these people are eating them night after night.
Yeah. Hey, they're eating them.
I'm feeding 200 people from that shoot. So, it's a win-win. And you didn't think they'd come back because you're giving them carp, mainly carp, because the snakeheads I clean, the customers take, and they come back the next night and they're there again, and they're so thankful. So I'm pretty fortunate with that. I want to say they take 95% of my fish.
That's amazing. Wow,
Yeah.
That's great. You're like a food bank by yourself.
Yeah,
that's really great.
Very lucky with that.
Yeah, good on you. That's really helping the community, helping the ecosystem as well.
I mean, so our big thing is like we pull up to the Trenton boat ramp or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know if these guys are going to be here. I don't know if they're going to take them, whatever. And then they're fishing, not for fun, but they're fishing for food. Because the minute I come in and I drop like, let's say 15 carp off, they pack their stuff up and they're out of there.
Yeah.
They're like, so thankful they don't have to sit there all night. In fact, we had a lady one night saying that my husband is the worst fisherman, never catches that. And she was so grateful that they were actually able to take fish home that night.
My wife drove all the way down there to tell you that.
Yeah, I think I've heard Kevin's wife say that a few times.
Crazy story.
Yeah. That really is great, man. That's awesome that 95% of the fish you shoot. I mean, that's really doing your part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty lucky with it. The 5%, I do have customers that actually take carp home. Don't know why.
I've given carp away myself before. People eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they eat them. A lot of guys in the springtime when we're shooting big numbers, we're shooting those 40, 50, 60 fish nights, 70, 100 fish nights.
Wow.
A lot of guys will take them for the neighborhoods because of the gardens.
Right. Yeah.
So right around, Mother's Day when guys are putting plants in the ground or whatever that timeline is, that's the big thing, I think. They want
probably get the best flowers in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. All the
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the snakehead thing is in the Delaware it wouldn't be my biggest concern. I think our biggest concern in the Delaware River is the blue cats.
Are you starting to see those more than just here and here?
Yeah. So you catch one a year, two a year, whatever. Now we're getting pretty good numbers. I've heard guys catching them in the 30-pound range in Trenton area.
Okay.
All the way down the line to salmon they're catching them. So snakehead, they winter, right? They don't feed in the winter. They kind of burrow in the mud. Like, we'll fish an area, we won't see them, and then the temperature will come up, and then all of a sudden, them snakeheads pop up. So they're light up in the winter. Same with the flatheads. Flatheads really won't eat that much in the winter. They go dormant. Blue cat, the colder it gets, the more they eat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these guys catch them, especially like February, March. It's a big thing, like on the James River. That's like the best time of year or whatever they tell me.
you can catfish for blue cats on the Delaware River in the Trenton area throughout the whole winter.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like you're going to light them up, but if you can find them.
But they don't shut down like other species do? Huh.
Now we get those
catfish.
In March, those 15, 18, 20, 22 pounders, catch a lot of them. On actually cut bait. And we're getting, the blue cats are getting in the mix. So they're coming up out of that deeper water, and they're starting to chew. It's good for me. It's good for business. It's telling you it's going to be a real issue in 5 years. It's going to be bad, really bad.
Have you seen a faster development with the blue cats than you have with the snakeheads over the past 10 years?
Absolutely.
They're much bigger appetite on them.
Yep. So this time of year we see a lot of crabs in the Delaware and Trenton, blue claws. Last 3 years, I'm lucky if I see a dozen a year now. We used to see 100 a night, 200 a night. I'm lucky to see a dozen, 15. I don't see them numbers anymore. Is it the blue cats? I got no idea, but I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know where they're going.
Hey, if they like eating crabs, that's...
Yeah, crayfish. I haven't seen any crayfish. We shot one with the bow the other night that was coming out of the creek. It had a 25-inch eel in his mouth. So they're feeding, and it wasn't even a very big blue cat. It was maybe 6-8 pounds. But when we got it out, I'm like, oh crap, it's a blue cat. It had a big eel sticking out of his mouth. I'm like,
oh, that's pretty cool. Well, I guess it's not cool, but
yeah. And more impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
I don't know how they got here so fast. You always heard there was DNA down south and blah, blah, blah. And then it was just like all of a sudden these things just showed up in numbers, not huge numbers. I'm sure if you spent a week targeting them and figuring them out, you could probably do very, very well. I don't target them that much. This time of year, I'm so into bow fishing. But September and October is like my flathead time. I'm going to rod and reel flatheads. And I'm sure we'll be doing big numbers of blue cats. This would be a good year for the blue cats, hopefully.
Now, would you say you catch the most of them down
What's
there?
that?
You catch mostly blue cats now, or you catch more flatheads and channels?
Mostly channel cats and flatheads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they're definitely coming up.
They're eating 6-inch bluegills.
Yeah.
So if they're eating 6-inch bluegills, what else are they eating?
Right.
Be perch. Like you can go out and go jig 300 perch in an afternoon, the white perch. And I'm kind of hoping it stays like that because it's a necessary food for everything in the river. The muskies. A lot of snakeheads we kill have small white perch in them or eels. Like I've never killed one that had a frog in it. And everybody throws frogs to catch. I killed one with a frog. Little white perch.
That is fun.
They say that they feed on them. I guess they do, but I've never killed one with it.
Well, that's awesome, man. That sounds great. It's definitely something I'm interested in doing. That whole fishery. I've never really fished that area, but it sounds cool. Those are some pretty high numbers you're talking about. So
it really, in the springtime with the shad run and the striped bass run, it's fantastic.
And do you fish for the shad and the striped bass off your boat?
Yep, I do shad trips. I have a gig with the USGS to do a shad study. They want to put transmitters or something in them. Whatever. I don't think they have all their stuff together to figure that out, but whatever. But yeah, so I do that, and I just chunk for the striped bass. I don't plug. My dock neighbor runs a guide business, and he threw nothing but plugs. And in the spring, he'll do 700 bass in the spring. Up to 45, 50 pound fish. I might do 20 chunking trips, catch a dozen each trip or something. I don't do that. It's a hard.
Well, Dom, thanks a lot for coming on. We're super excited to have a bow fisherman on with us tonight. I've been talking about it forever.
He does talk about it a lot.
I do talk about it a lot.
Dom, is there anything you want to plug before you go? Like, maybe your company name or any social medias that you have?
It's Full Draw. We're out of Trenton.
Full Draw Bowfishing.
Yep. I do, like I said, I do rod and reel flatheads, shad, striped bass, and channel cats, and then I obviously bowfish for carp, snakeheads, carp, snakeheads, catfish, and shad. I do the 4. We do fish. I do goldfish trips down south, Philadelphia area, and that's really it. I do up to 6 people, and my website is fulldrawbowfishing.com.
That's awesome. And you're on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram.
Yep.
Oh, he's a good follow. You've got to follow him, Max.
That's awesome, man.
A lot of people that really love what I do, and then I have a lot of people that really hate me.
Yeah, well,
Max has the same problem.
yeah, absolutely. Like our friend Adam Miharo always says, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, here's my want me to shoot snakeheads. I'm $900 a trip. Feel free to pay for it. I won't shoot them.
And they taste really good, though, right?
You can make that check payable to Full Draw Bowfishing, and I won't shoot any of that night. I promise. No, listen, I talked to somebody the other day who's catching down South Jersey. He's catching 30, 40 every day. Every time he goes out, he's catching between 30 and 40 of these things every day.
That's crazy.
That place is heavily bowfished.
Yeah,
Look at Maryland. They have tournaments for these things.
it's crazy.
And now they're allowed to sell them down there. So they can shoot them or catch them however they want to do it, and then they sell them to restaurants and they're getting like $6-7 a pound.
Wow, that's not bad.
Yeah. So think about how many they're killing compared to how many we're killing.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my part.
Yeah, well, get out there. Go shoot some fucking snakes.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Have a good night, Dom. Great talking to you.
Nice meeting you, man. NJFishing.com, your one stop for all your fishing needs in New Jersey. Any bit of information you could possibly need, they got it. Just go on there, check it out, send them a message, get an account. It's pretty easy. You'd be surprised. It only takes a few hours and you're in. Sometimes it's a few minutes, but all the information you could ever need for everything, every species, any spots, it's all there. That's pretty much where I learned. So, go check them out. NJFishing.com. It's where this all started.
I found all my information on the first local tournaments I started entering in New Jersey on NJF. Great way to get into any type of fishing in the state.
Well, that was pretty cool, right?
Oh, anytime I talk to Dom, it's great. The man's hilarious, great at what he does. A night on his boat is a freaking riot.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, he
doesn't just bring you A to B. He's a clown too. He's funny.
He seems like a nice guy. I definitely want to hang out with him at some point. It seems like he knows what he's doing too. If he's shooting that many fish,
what we need to do is
that many.
We need to get some lights on that floating barge of a kayak of yours. You could probably bowfish 2 people off of that thing.
Probably could. Yeah, I have a little boat in Pennsylvania. It's got 2 seats and it's a little flat top. Maybe we can use that thing.
Cool. Yeah, no, we could definitely build that up into a bowfishing boat.
Load it and just fucking shoot them.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty nifty, let's call them, bowfishing rigs.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, we can slide that back of your truck, man. We can go down there.
Yeah, maybe after that flathead tournament in a couple of weeks. That's not super far from your place. We'll go pick that boat up, make that happen.
That'd be fun. Yeah, the Flathead tournament, the Lori Yates and Dave Aw's Catfish Kings Flathead tournament was postponed, I think. Now it's there's a rain date for September 7th, is it?
September 7th, yes.
September 7th is the new date for the Catfish Kings tournament.
Yeah, $30 if you enter now. Once we get within a week of that, I think it goes to $40.
Yeah, and if you're interested in signing up for it or learning about it, you can contact Lori Yates or probably Dave Aw as well. I'm sure there's other people.
I'm sure Dave has the flyer.
Yeah, but I think all the information, the meeting place is at the Hutch, the same place as last year. So reach out to Laura if you want to catch some catfish and enter a tournament. Yeah, but one thing Dom said that really made me wonder is, like, he said that there's that many snakeheads in the river, and my theory is like snakeheads provide competition to bass and other predators in the river. And sometimes when you introduce another species that provides competition, it pushes the other species to eat more because they feel pressure. So that would make sense to why they're fine in the river and they're not really affecting anything, you know. But like he said, with the small ponds, I'm sure they could devastate small ponds if a good population found their way in there. And it could be from a flood, or I think they actually walk on land too. So that's the threat, you know. They come crawling out of the river and into your pond and they eat everything.
It's more of a wiggle, but they can get
wiggle, yeah.
They do also have a ton of offspring though, so sure, they're eating a lot, but they are providing a ton of food to the other species.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So in a big ecosystem like a river, as compared to a little pond, you know, they might thrive, they might do fine, and not disturb the ecosystem at all. I don't know. I was describing it. So, but when they get in a little pond like that, or even just a little lake, whatever it is, I'm sure there's a lot of them down in South Jersey that's the case. You could probably catch a lot of snakeheads on any given day, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, before the state deemed those, I guess, illegal, you know, you can't have them anymore. My aunt had one in a 100-gallon fish tank in her basement. Got it as a little fish. It got to be like 3 foot long. She just had this thing as a pet. We'd have parties. She'd throw a dozen goldfish in the tank.
That's crazy, dude.
Turn orange. It was then. I was young at the time, but she got a phone call from the state. They were out front of her door. The state found out about the goldfish about the snakehead after they made them illegal. The gold came and removed it from her house.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I was going to say, if she released it, it's probably your fault. Snakeheads, I definitely want to catch them, man. They're cool.
Yeah, that's a trip I want to go on. I really don't like paddling my kayak, but I'd go down, paddle around for some of those.
The Kennedys catch them from shore. You know, a lot of people catch them from shore down in South Jersey. I saw on
jealous.
Yeah, well, I saw on Facebook today they just caught more snakeheads, you know, and the temperatures are dropping. So that's not consistency. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I would love to go target them. They're such a cool, like, top water only, you know, but that's so strange. Like he said, he'd never found one with a frog in him.
Yeah, I didn't believe that. That was crazy. And he would be the man to know.
Yeah, I'm sure he's seen the inside of a lot of snakeheads.
I heard they're excellent table fare. Your grandma could probably even make one taste decent.
Yeah, I heard they're good, like, smoked too. They're good smoking fish. I definitely want to eat one. I really do, because I like eel, you know. Eel's good. Smoked eel's fantastic. But snakeheads, yeah, the Kennedys have been catching them. Who else has been catching fish? What's been going on? Jason Uhas has been catching some nice bass. Did you see that?
Yeah, he does a lot of his fishing land-based too. He's catching a lot of land-based or banking
guy, shore banger. Yeah. That's what it's about, man. Especially this time of year, you know, they're all pushed up on the shore. Well, now they're going a little deeper under docks and cover like that, but they should be coming back up soon. It gets a little colder.
Yeah, my buddy Tommy Dillon in town on the Passaic here, he's been catching a lot of pike. A lot of pike on large rooster tails.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, you know, our river's cruising, and I live on a very skinny section of the Passaic. So anytime we get a flood, you know, it just packs itself up with new branches and trees and stuff. So you got to really fish the top, and you got to do it fast. If you go more than a foot down, you're getting wrapped up. So he's running rooster tails right below the surface, and he's catching tons of pike.
That's pretty cool. I saw that Yellow Dog Paddle just pulled up a 30-inch pike while he was out fishing. That's pretty cool. Chris got that big one a few weeks ago.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Had that weird looking tail on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
they're on vacation. We don't need to worry about them.
They don't exist anymore. It's our show now.
So what was it? Like, did they go on an all-inclusive, like, lovers retreat? Where are they? Why are they both gone at the same time? It's so strange.
You know, when I drive out 78 west towards the Poconos, I always see that billboard that has the heart-shaped hot tub and, like, the two little hands that are, like, holding the wine glass with a couple in it. And I gotta get a hold of that picture, because that's probably what they're doing right now. Just nestled up in a hot tub together.
Imagine that the two brothers, the two Hobbit brothers from Lord of the Rings, go in and say, "Hi, we'd like the couples retreat."
Little step stool at the concierge desk so that they can see over.
Oh man! All right, who else is catching fish? My girl Katie Lynn caught a full bass. You see that thing, man?
She needs to stop fishing. It's unfair how frequently
it's not fair,
she
right?
gets to go and how well she does.
She's got the blessed touch, man. She always hooks up to good fish. It's pretty crazy. What are you gonna do? I wish I was like that. But now we're tied for the what is it? The Grand Master,
I think.
Super Master of the Universe award.
What are you guys at? 8?
We're at 8. Yeah.
I'm stalled at 6 right now.
I gotta look. I think I'm at 8.
Came up just shy of a largemouth. Got my bluegill recently.
That's how it works. I was fishing with Katie. Brought her nephew, and we took him carp fishing, and he wound up catching a very big catfish a week or two ago when we went out, and it was skillful angler. But we're honest, so I'm not going to take it from the kid. She's not going to take it from the kid. He's going to enter it himself, and he's going to get his own award. And that's how it should be.
Yeah, Friday I think I'm going to try and check the channel cat off. I'll let you know where I'm going. I haven't decided if I'm going to do LP, which you guys all say you hate it, but I catch the cats there.
I can't argue. I know, I saw it.
And maybe I'll take advantage of the water being so low at Spruce Run and throw some livers from shore near some deeper parts that are easily accessible right now.
Yeah, I heard in Spruce Run the water's so low that the boat launch is basically unusable now. Which is weird. That's a scary thought. Hopefully it fills up pretty soon. Because those hybrids and crappie, I heard they're in the shallows and about 15 feet of water or so, but it doesn't help if you can't get in there, I guess go from shore.
Yeah.
Go from shore. I heard hybrids are starting to respond to chicken livers, so it's probably getting to that temperature soon, right?
Well, that's my game. Chunk of livers.
Yeah, it's fine.
If they're going to start hitting livers, then that's where I'm going to go Friday.
Yeah, if they're shallow and the water's low, now's the time, I guess. But
when they have to ball up on each other, resources get thin.
Yeah, I went bass fishing with John Dorn, not too long ago, and a good time. He's really, really cool dude. He consistently catches fish. No, not at all.
No, he didn't throw you off his boat. Yeah,
you're so much cooler than Kevin. I would never even think about throwing you off my boat. What he said to me. No.
He acted surprised. He acted like that was an accident, but he moved that trolling motor on purpose. He knew exactly what he was doing.
I asked him. He said he's thrown himself before. Sometimes things happen. So what can you do? But he's a cool guy. He knows his stuff. He's consistent. He knows what works. He catches fish, and he's fun to hang out with.
I would have let that lure go if it wasn't one of those $17 chatterbaits that Kronk convinced me I needed to buy.
I know, it's so funny.
Every chatterbait I'd ever owned, like $2 to $3. I spend one day fishing with Kronk. Suddenly, I've got a tackle box with like $200 worth of chatterbaits in it.
I like the Z-Man. I think makes like an 1/8 ounce chatterbait. It's so tiny, and it's great for like ultralight.
We have to talk about BFS.
Oh, so much fun. I'm not going to bring it up. You brought it up. But what else is going on? I just saw Pukey Lukey is in upstate New York, taking advantage of a vacation, and he caught a bunch of brook trout. That's pretty cool.
And those mountain streams up there are great. My uncle has 350 acres in upper central New York, we'll call it. He's got a ton of tiny little like 3-foot streams and creeks that run through that property. Nothing's more than 2 foot deep. And if you just stick a net in the water, the whole thing is just full of trout fry. It's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Trout fry. What a thought. What else is going on? Jen Wong got back from iCast. I think he partied a little too hard. I haven't been seeing too much from him. I think he participated in a fluke fishing tournament. Not sure how he did, but I'm sure he catches fish everywhere he goes. So
Speaking of tournaments, we had to cancel last week's multi-species event at Lake Parsippany because there was so much lightning in the area. So Tim Brennan and I are going to work on a makeup date for that. Best there'll be 3 payouts: biggest or longest bass, longest carp, and longest catfish. We've got channel, bullhead, and white cats in there. Last year's largest skillful angler came out of that, 31.5 inches.
Didn't a state record come out of there at one point?
There was a time, I want to say it was like in the 70s or 80s, that a channel cat was caught out of there and briefly held the state record. We had an old article somewhere in our clubhouse about it. I'll have to find that, try and get the measurements and the date. But Tim Brennan found that data out a while ago and told me about it.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. What else is going on? Did you see anybody else catching fish on the Facebook page? Kyle Thomas, I saw, went out, and he said he caught like 10 rainbows and a couple bass. That's a pretty good day. You know, that's fun.
Yeah, I think I have my 9.9 finally figured out. I had revalve issues, which, looking back, I probably should have checked those right away based on what was wrong. Instead, I just tried fixing it, doing stupid, shoddy methods for about a year before finally getting around to ripping the motor apart. So I can get us out on that lake sometime soon. We have the Veterans Tournament coming up. I've got Tim Brennan and Ian Winslow, my vet, going out to fish that at Round Valley.
That's pretty cool. I think you have the most expensive 9.9 in New Jersey.
At this point, I absolutely have the most expensive 9.9 in New Jersey. The fact that I've put as much money as I have into keeping a 1990 motor still running is out of this world. The problem is
brand new Kohatsu, bro.
The problem is it's technically my dad's 9.9, and we all know that if you're using something of your father's and it breaks while you're using it, whether it was your fault or not, you're the one that broke it. You're going to hear about it forever.
Absolutely. Unless you fix it immediately and never say anything again.
No matter what happens, no matter how much I spend, I have to fix that 9.9. I totaled this Harley one time.
That's not good.
Well, you only total a bike one time, right? So he takes a look at it. It's mangled. I talked to the Harley dealer, find out what it would cost to take this 25-year-old, not collector's edition, not mint Harley, and get it back to the condition it was in. And it was going to hurt. And luckily, my uncle stepped in. He offered him a sweet deal on a much better bike. And I got out of having to fix that issue.
That's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, I'm going up into Delaware with that uncle to fish with Mike Kay on that riverboat trip that he raffled off. So here's some smallmouth the 17th, I think.
The 17th you're going?
Yep, 17th. Going to do some smallmouth on the upper Delaware. I've never fished the upper section at all. I'm always
fished the upper section out. I heard it's good. It's like really good, but I've never fished it, you know? I've never gone further than like, I don't know, like the border of New York, you know, never where it splits or anything like that. Not the trout waters, but I've done the what is it, the Kittatinny canoe float. That's fun. That's a nice stretch of the river. I like that stretch. There's some deep holes in there. But
I started all of my Delaware fishing with my uncle that I'm taking on that trip. His buddy did a ton of shad fishing. He was a big shad guy, and most of it was out of Regalsville. So I got super familiar with the Regalsville north and south, about as far as you could get with a prop. And then some, you know, Butters High. We went a little further than we should have that one time.
I remember. That was quite the adventure, yeah.
Made it out without sinking that boat.
It didn't touch a single rock, man. We Lewis and Clark'd it.
Yeah. Nice. Didn't catch a single catfish we were supposed to, but that was an entertaining. That was the first.
I did get to see you throw back a skillful angler catfish while dressed as the Gordon's fisherman, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
enjoyed that.
That was pretty hard for that.
All right. I heard there was a mugging at Merrill Creek. Now, I don't want to cause too much speculation, but apparently Scott Howard and Rob Jasonic rolled right up next to Chris and his girlfriend and taught him how to fish with artificial lures and caught a bunch of fish on the vertical jigs right in front of them while they were catching fish on the bobbers.
Scoured and Rob went out and taught Chris a lesson.
Yep. They got mugged just like they should.
Yeah, really. They were doing more suffering.
Yeah, they definitely suffered that day. I think they got to watch a show. So Good for them. Bringing back
nice when Chris has to learn to fish from someone other than Katie.
Fishing reports. Let's talk fishing reports. I got word from Chris Lito on the Gambler. He said that Manasquat Inlet is not looking good. They had trouble on at least one of their trips. Hopefully the state is going to come in, or the Army, or whoever. I don't know. Somebody's going to do something about it, which would be nice, because I heard the storms finally cleared, and the fluke bite might be picking up. They said they went out for the first time after the storms on Sunday, last Sunday, and they got a few limits over the rails. But he said he thinks that the south wind pattern is finally over, and the fluke bite should be on the upswing from here on out. So that's from Chris Lito down in the Salt on the Gambler. And what else is going on? I talked to Eddie Mackin. He said that Lake Hopatcong has dropped in temperature. I believe it is 77 degrees now, and the smallmouth and the crappie are stacked up on the points and the ledges around the lake. The lake is almost full again because of all the rain and the storms we've had, so that's good. Full lake is a happy lake. And he told me Dow's has limited quantity of large herring for sale, but they do have small herring for sale. I believe that's correct information. Small herring for sale, and they are good for smallmouth bass and crappie. You can't go wrong, really. But other than that, everything on the lake is still on fire. Eddie's crushing them, so it should only get better as the fall bite picks up. And we drop some temperature. Should be nice. That'd be fun. And then what's next?
I saw the thermocline is set up at RVR right around 40 foot right now. On Mayhem, a couple guys were talking about catching a ton right at that depth.
Yeah. I heard Yellow Dog Paddle told me that rainbow trout fishing on Round Valley is really picked up because the water temperature has dropped. And, he's catching a lot of 17 to 20 inch fish. That's great. The whole lake is fantastic. I'm sure the whole bite is going to get better. The bass fishing, they'll start coming out, be a little more comfortable, not trying to hide from the heat as much. The other fish should start going crazy, getting on for the fall feed. So that should be exciting. I'd like to see what everyone catches.
You got to get out there and get my trout. I don't have my rainbow essay, Laker essay. I've been slacking.
I don't have any of my skillful angler trouts. Joe's got that brown trout. I think it's huge. I don't think anybody beat that yet from the beginning of the year.
That was an absolute monster. I was with him on that trip.
Yeah.
An absolute beast.
Yeah. Other than that, what else? Spruce Run is low. Boat ramp sucks. Fish are in the shallows, Yeah,
you have one reservoir absolutely full. The other one's starting to empty.
No, it's up and down.
Poison.
Pick your poison, right? I guess, if the liver bite is starting to pick up and the fall bite we're making that transition with this colder weather, that's definitely something to look forward to. And all bodies of water, you know what I'm saying?
Hope we don't get one of those second summers coming up. We're a couple more weeks, no rain.
No, that'd be terrible. No, we need some rain and we need some cold. That's what we need.
Yep. All my pumpkins are dead, so.
Really?
Yeah, happens. Maybe we need to go bowfish next year. Get some better fertilizer.
Yeah, let's call Dom. We'll go.
Frozen shad I have waiting for this catfish tournament isn't going to do it.
Take a fertilizer run down to South Jersey or Trenton. Is Trenton South Jersey? It's all South Jersey to me.
There's okay. Are we doing this? There's no such thing as Central Jersey.
No, that doesn't exist. We can all agree on that.
It doesn't exist. So yeah, it's pretty much everything south of me. Yeah, I'm on the most southern point of Morris County.
Yeah, anything below Morris County is South Jersey to me.
Right.
Yeah. What do I know?
Yeah, you're in a very well-defined North Jersey up where you are.
Yeah, I like it where I am.
Miscreants that trying to acknowledge Central Jersey usually try to drag me into Central Jersey. It's no.
I don't know what Central Jersey is. Can you explain that? What? That makes me think of the weird thing. What is it? Nah, I'm not going to bring it up. The great breakfast meat debate. I'm not going to bring it up.
No. Save that for Adam. Save that for Mayhem. That's a Mayhem thing.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, it is a New Jersey podcast, you know.
What fishing do we have this weekend? I have to go down to Tuckerton on Saturday for a toddler's birthday party in the middle of the day. Maybe in the morning or the afternoon we can make something happen in the salt down there.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing fishing like after work. I stop and I take a few casts. I caught a nice bass the other day, but I really haven't been fishing.
Is it Wyatt down that way? Should reach out to Wyatt. Go do some bass fishing in South Jersey.
Oh, we could absolutely go reach out to Wyatt. Tommy Tanks, dude, he's my boy.
Yeah, we're done here. I'll shoot a message to Wyatt, maybe, and then I'll drag you to a 6-year-old's birthday party. It'll be great. Everyone will love it.
Absolutely. Well, I want to bring Powerbait Paul too.
Yeah, just don't scare the kids.
Oh well. Me and Powerbait Paul might scare the kid.
They're going to think he's the Lorax.
Big bushy beards, you know. Kids don't like that.
No, you look a little creepy. He looks like the Lorax. You know, he can get paid to go to these birthday parties.
Oh, man. I really do want to go. I want to go down there. I want to fish. I want to try to catch some snakeheads or whatever the hell's down there biting, you know.
Yeah, well, my grandparents moved to, where'd they move to? Port Charlotte, Florida. They lived in Tuckerton, right by that, there's a Stewart's. And there's this tiny pond behind that Stewart's, and the grass carp were like human size in that.
Huh.
I want to find someone that does carp fishing down in South Jersey in those shallow little ponds that are just all reeds, because I have seen some absolutely enormous carp in that part of the state.
Yeah, I would love to go do it. I'll bring all my carp stuff. Let's go do it. It's worth a shot, right? I've always wanted to catch a grass carp. I've never caught one of those. With their eyes are on the side of their head.
Yeah. Well, I've only ever gotten one with a bow. Never rod and reeled one.
Yeah.
Now, if you really look into the rules on Skillful Angler, catch and release, does it define catch and release, or if it gets an arrow and goes back in the water, is it technically release?
I don't think that's...
No, you don't think that qualifies? Would have to enter that in the adult division, get a weight on it.
But you got to take a picture of it. So what do you? There's an arrow sticking through it on the bump board. It's like, it went back. No, I caught it like that. It had the arrow in it already.
Well, Dom said he's lost hundreds of arrows, so
exactly.
I'm sure there are fish swimming around like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure they could survive. Just, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, how often do you catch a fish that's mouth is all mangled and it still has like the lure from the last person? I see that ice fishing a lot. I catch a lot of fish that have the little like micro jigs still somewhere in their mouth.
Just bass fishing, man. I can't even tell you how many fish I've caught with lures already in their throats. You know, and you gotta pop them out. You could save them, you know. But I caught a fish one time. It would have been like 6 or 7 pounds. Huge bass. Completely emaciated. Had a giant football jig stuck in its throat, and it was hooked on the bottom and the top, so he couldn't physically eat. And I got the jig out and I saved the fish. It was cool, you know. But sometimes it happens, man. It's rough, but people don't use the right line, and what are you gonna do?
All right. Well, we've been here a while now, Max.
Yeah, we have. What do we got next week, Kev?
Next week we've got Brian Kronk gonna come visit. Gonna come join us. Talk a little bit about LP. Yeah, you want to talk about LP? Yeah, he's gonna talk to us about. He loves chatterbaits, bass fishing in general. We're going to hear from Dave. Dave, I'm not even going to try and say Dave P's last name. Give us a quick rundown on what it's like to fish these major tournaments, the televised fishing tournaments. Dave travels all over the East Coast on FLW, MLF, 2014, I think it was. He can correct me. He was named Rookie of the Year on the tour. So he's going to be a wealth of knowledge. See what it takes to get going, how you get into that level of tournament fishing. You know, we've all started with the small local tournaments, but at what point and how do you make that jump?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still on the small local tournaments. I just started doing them, so I'm definitely curious to hear about it, and it should be an interesting episode. So I look forward to it.
Not to your benefit to try and fly fish or carp during a bass fair. during a bass tournament, Max. I'll give you that.
There is a guy who, I don't know if he's out in California or something. There is a guy, he catches bass on the fly in tournaments, and he usually wins the tournaments. But he fishes the float and fly, which is a bobber. So
a bobber. Gonna make it great again.
Who are we? Chris and Joe talking about bobbers.
Oh God, we got to end this before we turn into them.
All right,
can't do it.
All right, let's get out of here. All right, well, that was fun. First episode. Looking forward to the next one.
First in the books. 1 down, 1 to go.
1 down, 1 to go. Oh God, it's all gonna burn. Suffer for the fish. Here we go. Ready? Yeah. See it?
Yeah. How many days have those two been on vacation yet? I haven't seen any pictures of them suffering for the fish yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen any fish. What are they doing? Not suffering?
I don't think they're suffering enough.
Themselves.
No, that's not suffering enough. Yeah, we need to get them some more suffering. I'll call them after this. I'll call them after this. Talk to them about how you did, and they'll be suffering.
All right, guys. Well, I'm Max Wilson. I don't know if you know me or not, but it's been a pleasure.
Evan Glenn, always a pleasure.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Till next week. Bobbers out.